going forward in 2021, there are certain things that we have to do so that you can also testify that God is good. So, the message I have for you today is the keys to 2021. I know most churches are talking about the birth of Christ. Yeah, we know about the birth of Christ. In this church, we know about the birth of Christ. But I need to teach you and prepare you for 2021. Keys to 2021. What are we going to do to be successful in 2021? 2021, the world has already been reset. The billionaires made more money in this season. And the poor people got poorer in this season. 2020. 2020 was when we first heard about SARS, not the disease SARS. SARS, the one in Nigeria. 2020. Governments were shaking. 2020. Nobody prepared for 2020. No pastor. No man of God saw it. So if you are not doing it before, you were caught off guard. We were praying online before. So when it happened this way, we were just doing what we used to do. But now it got more intensified. I was asking woman of God, how am I even going to do the first? Usually we pray for the first 41 days, 40 days of the year. We do fasting and prayer and we meet here every day. I'm already doing it. So what am I going to do now? I was asking woman of God. So what do you do in 2021? Somebody say keys to 2021. And I said, the way I wrote it is this way. The way I heard it is how I wrote it. Lock it with God. Work it with God. And get it with God. Lock it with God. Work it with God. And get it with God. We have come to realize that your degree cannot save you. Your status cannot save you. Your political connection cannot save you. The color of your skin, so that Simon will be shamed, cannot save you. The thing that is going around this world does not look at who you are, your background you are, the money you have in your account. No. Money cannot save you now. What can save us is God. What can save us is God. The biggest church cannot save you. These days, big churches are going to be out of this very soon. You see. They start breaking down big churches, selling their buildings. Because the way ministry now is, the only part of it that I don't like is the coming together of the people to pray, which is very effective. But now the way ministry is very, very impactful. Very impactful. So big buildings are not saving you. Your money is not saving you. Only God can save you in 2021. So 3 keys. Key number 1, lock it with God. Psalm 37 verse 5. Psalm 37 verse 5. And if you are watching on Facebook, my name is Pastor Tony. This is my wife, Pastor Ikwa. If it's possible, after this message, go to YouTube, download it, and go and listen to it again, if it's possible with you. And I know it's going to bless you. Psalm 37 verse 5. And it says, commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Look at the screen. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him also, and he will do it. The Amplified Version. The new NIV says, commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Bring what to pass? Your plans. Somebody say, my plans must be committed to the Lord. Commit your ways to God. 2021. Anything you want to do now, Any plan that you have for 2021, first thing you have to do it is that you have to lock that plan with God. What do I mean by locking the plan with God? You first have to have the approval of God before you even decide that is your plan. You first have to have the approval of God. You see, most times we start and we bring God along. You marry, then you invite God in. You start a business and then you bring God in. No. 2021, anything you want to do, lock it first with God. Ask of his permission first. Commit it to God first before you start. How do you commit things to God? Michael, prayer, fasting, seeking his face. Before you make that decision, you must to have that okay from God. Why? When God is pleased with your plan, he takes your position away from that plan. When God okays something, some of us, we are doing things that God did not tell us to do, and we are struggling in it, and now we are seeking the face of God. And God is trying to help you, but the thing is that God was not part of it from the first place. He was not part of that first decision you took. 2021, key number one, whatever you do, make sure God approves of it first. Make sure that God is the way I wrote it, said, he is the CEO of your life. You see, at the end of the year, those of you who have been working with the corporate world, every department head will come to their boss. And you go to the boss and they'll ask them, what are the plans and the projections for 2021? So the marketing team will come. The purchasing and supply team will come. Every department will come. And they will submit their plan to the CEO. And the CEO will then approve or disapprove them. This is how we have to treat God this year. Now to the 31st, ask God, seek the face of God. Pray. Is it my year to marry? Don't decide you're going to marry and bring God in. Pray and seek the face of God. Commit that decision to God first. And when you commit your ways to God, you see, when you commit your ways, it's like you are committing your thoughts. When you commit your ways, it's like you are committing your decision making. Nobody commits his way to God and they don't change as a person. Keys for 2021. The Bible says in James 1:17, every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. Every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of light, with whom there is no variation of or shadow of turning. So when God approves of it, he will not change. James, are you getting this? Every good and perfect gift comes from God. So whatever you have to do, ask God for it first. Go to God. Be purposeful about going to God about what you want to do. Don't live life anyhow. Don't live life as it happens. Be purposeful. Like, I want to do this. Father, is it okay for me to do this? I am committing this I'm about to do because it is only you who can give me what I am looking for. It's not by strength. It's not by power. If it was by strength and by power, only the poor people in Africa would have died from this COVID. The projection they made, like by this time, there is no human being left on Africa. We don't have the facilities. This mask that you are wearing it cheaply like that. Go and see the price over there. We don't have the facilities. So it's not by might and it's not by power. It's not by that your degree that you've got from this MSUM or the Harvard that you think you have gone to that is going to cause you to see what you are looking for. It is only God that can help you do what you want to do. Everything you are seeking from, in James 1:17, he said, every good and perfect gift comes from God. You want to buy a house? Commit it to God. You want to buy a car? Commit it to God. When you seek the face about God, listen, child of God, God speaks to everybody. He speaks to you and me. When you are praying about something and it doesn't sit well with you, and you know that God is not in agreement with it, you know. You don't need a man of God. These days, when you call me, you can't even get me unless you have been calling me previously. And most pastors, they are busy. There are issues. Most pastors, you can't get them. Critically, think about it. Every time you needed by Pastor Moose, that's the time their phones are switched off. So that's why I encourage you that you must hear from God yourself. Yourself. Hear from God. So commit that plan to God. Because He is the one that gives every gift. He's the one that gives the promotion. He's the one that gives the demotion. He's the one that does everything. So seek His face first. Your ways are not committed. My ways are not committed. 2020, I realized how deep I was with God. I realized that I have no way. I need to get deeper. Hallelujah. So when you commit your ways to God, you lock that your plan with God. Your life has to go through God. Your life has to go through God. When God is with you, He even causes your enemies, He even causes the things that will fight you to be at peace with you. That is why I love committing my ways to God. When God approves of something, He even fights what is supposed to fight you. He takes it away. He causes situation that's supposed to go the other way to work for you. That's why you cannot act the same way as a man who is committed to God. If you see a man who is committed to God walking on water, and you say you go and walk on water, my friend, you will drown. Because the one that is committed to God, God makes it possible for him to do the impossible. Proverbs 16 verse 7. He says, when a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, He causes even his enemies. And enemies, when we talk about enemies, your health, money. It's not physical enemies, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's not physical. Anything that fights you, God will cause it to be at peace with you. Because His ways, your ways are pleasing to Him. So commit everything you are about to do. I want to be in law school. Commit it to the Lord. Lord, is it your will? I am going to the law school for your glory. I want to get married. I am marrying for His glory. I want the Maserati. And some of you want the Maserati because of the song. It's for your own sake. You want the girls to be hopping in it. My friend, it will not happen. It will not happen. Come and sweep all the girls in town with the Maserati. But make sure your thought, your mind, your will is committed to God. Number one. Number two, whatever you plan to do, work it with God. Work that thing with God. Most people think that God always moves in large numbers. That if God is part of it, that's how my wife was thinking when we started out, when we were looking for a restaurant building in Atlanta. She said that if the building is $800 a month, it's not God. That one I can do. I want something that is $10,000 a month. A lot of us, when God gives you Kia, you think it's not a breakthrough. Because it's small. You see, but God works with the little. It is not the beginning of the matter that matters. It is the end of the matter that matters. When God is, you see, in Zechariah 4 verse 10, He said, don't despise small beginnings. Most people don't work with God because God starts small. God starts small. When I started ministry and I had 10,000 people as members, oh boy, nobody can touch me. The way I'll be doing things, I know myself. African man that has been made a lead at Integrity Windows. See the things they do. See the things the small lead African man is giving. He wants his own parking lot. He's a lead. Small lead, oh. He wants his own parking lot with his name. His name is a full sentence. And he wants his name, a whole sentence, in that lane. Somebody says, don't despise small beginnings. God starts small. He told Zerubbabel, he said, it's not by power, it's not by might. It's by me, oh God. I do it by my spirit. The way I'll do it, I start small. So start small. Listen, you want to buy a car? You want to buy a car? You like a Range Rover. Your credit is 350. You don't have even saving account. And you are moving by faith. Okay, I understand faith can move any mountain. Who am I to tell you that your faith cannot move this mountain? But dude, fix your credit first. Line by line. T-Mobile, pay it off. Dollar Tree, pay it off. Fix it line by line. You want God to move. You see, we despise small beginnings. Because of that, anything, listen, you think that God will just suddenly cause you to walk into the dealership and suddenly with the credit score of 350, yes, sir, there's something on you, I'll give it to you. Oh boy, not in this system. Not in this system. Fix your credit. You want to get married? I cannot even leave a 2-year-old with you. You don't even have patience for a 2-year-old. Let alone 2 months. You have to change diaper every 2 seconds. And you say you want to get married. My friend, go small by small. Say, Father, fix this thing about me. Fix this thing about me. Fix this by small. See, God builds up a person. He does not just make you come out like a mushroom. Even mushrooms, it's built up. God is not a God of overnight success. Overnight, work it with God. Don't despise small beginnings. When it's small, listen, woman of God, we realized later on. This morning she was telling me, said if I had started in New York with the mindset I have for the Spice Girl, I would have failed. God sent me to Moorhead, and I learned the trade in Moorhead. I had to start from a small place so that when I'm ready to go to the big world, I have learned my lessons. You people are sitting here talking about Moorhead. It's a boring place. You can't even handle Moorhead and you say you want to handle Brooklyn. Am I blessing somebody? You can't even handle Moorhead and you say you are ready for Brooklyn. Zechariah 4 verse 10. Can you open the Bible for me? Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8. He said, who with reason despises the day of small things? I'll just end there. Who with reason will despise the day of small things? Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8. It says that it's not the beginning of the matter. It's not the beginning of the matter. The end of the matter is better than its beginning. The end of the matter is better. Work it with God. Somebody say, I will work it with God. I will work it with God's timing. Some people will see, I like to remind people, when I know your story, I use it as a testimony. You see somebody like my boy Labi sitting here, driving different cars every 3 days. When he was walking on 12th Avenue, where were you? When he was walking, somebody say he's paid his dues. But you see, we like end product. KG, we don't like the middle part. We like the end. So you've bought a house. So people want to go and buy a house. So you did a wedding. So everybody wants to do wedding. Do you, anybody who is not single here, let me tell you, do you know what it takes to handle a woman? You are not laughing. How can you laugh? It's not a funny matter to women. Do you know what it takes? And you say you want to marry. Work it with God. See, when you come into contact with God, God is not looking to give you miracles. God is looking to transform you. When you commit your ways to God, He has a way of transforming you, even as He's delivering to you what you are looking for. He transforms you first. His idea is not to give you material things. The idea of God is to transform you, that in the day of adversity, in the day of trouble, you'll be able to stand. Let me tell you, trouble, no finish. So, while my boy went to buy, where's my hanky? While my boy went to buy Mercedes-Benz, he didn't know that Mercedes-Benz, the side mirror, is almost as much as a car itself. Unfortunately, he was in this area. He bought it in this area. It's only rich people who buy Mercedes and those things, because in this area, it's prone to small accidents. My boy went to buy this car. My boy, somebody just came to hit that. My boy, side mirror, even that my car. This one that is not expensive, Chrysler. Even the side one, the automatic, is about 400 and something. One small. The Mercedes. Say, Pastor, my son, if I had told you that you were not ready, you will say, I am busting your bubble. Why? Because you ought to have savings in the account in case something like that happens. If you go to, you think that, listen, there are certain things that you ought to be built up before you can have it. We are impatient, so we don't love the beginnings of things. We shut it down in the middle because God is not moving fast enough. God's Wi-Fi, it looks like that Wi-Fi that morning, it's not connecting. He said, it's not 5G, it's 3G. Somebody say, I will work with God. I will work with God's timing. Started our shop 2020. COVID. Even without COVID. Then COVID. But this is the year that I saw that God indeed is. It's like God has his hand upon me. When you are going through adversity, somebody say, I won't give up. When first of all you know that it was a God-commissioned thing, it was God that started it, you will never give up. No matter how it goes down, you know that this one I started with God. The reason we give up easily is that we did not start with God in the first place. You saw a beautiful girl singing in the choir. Because of that, you say you will marry her. Don't be fooled by people who hold Michael. I'm holding Mike too. Don't be fooled by the quick scriptures they quote. You go and marry a lioness. You see, one thing about marriage that I love is that once you get in, you can't get out. I love it too. So when I advise you and you want to go, I just step back and say, go. When you call me, I'll listen. And if my wife is there, I'll put it on speaker and I'll be laughing. Then after you finish, I say, it is well with you. We told you. But you said you wanted to marry because your body is what? It's scratching you. Kasumba yadas. Marriage? Even me, 16 years of being married, Labi. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Then I will look at woman of God. Then I'll be sitting there long hours watching you. Then I'll be watching you. Then I'll be watching you. Then I'll cry out, mercy, Lord. Oh, Jesus. Marriage. Take your time this year. Somebody say, I will work it with God. You want money. You want promotion. Can you handle it? God first must build you up. He must build you up. He must build you up. So God's way, God, when he has something good for you, he takes his time and he prepares you. But most of us, we want overnight. So we just leave God out of the equation in the middle of it. Shall I do it my own way? That's why you begin to have problems with pastor. You begin to have problems with church. You begin to have problems with church things. Anything that reminds you of God, you begin to have problem with it. There are people, the whole year, they have not been able to read the Bible. Why? They are disappointed with God. 2020 has been very disappointing. Seriously. You ask yourself, where is God? One day we're praying in the morning, somebody came on Periscope. They were going to ask me that question. I want to ask a question. I said, my friend, it's not the time for this time question. Please. I did not create God. God was God by himself. He is not a man to lie. If he has said something, he will do it. It's not it's his timing, not my timing. I said, my friend, get it. I told him, I said, oh God, tell him that it's not a time for me to answer those questions. He will do it. Somebody say he will do it. And somebody say, I will get it with God. I will not get it my own way. You see, the reason a lot of us are not able to get what we are looking for is that we waver easily. Bad days will surely come. Trouble will surely visit you. But stick with God. Stick with God when trouble comes. Bad days, they will come. They come to the most powerful people in the world, and they come to the most lowly people in the world. It comes. Is trouble. Trouble is like it doesn't consider whether you have the resources to face it. Trouble is the tool that God uses to teach us. When people give up because they look at things with their own eyes when trouble comes. I have learned to look at things with the eyes of God. What is impossible for man, I know is possible with God. I know. I have a strong testimony. What is impossible? So I have come to understand that